Hello?
Hello.
Hey.
Wars are only won upon the anvil of honor. Victory or death!
Victory requires strategy.
I can help you with that.
Only strength can assure total dominance.
But of course, you could forget all that and just have fun.
Well played.
Hearthstone, Heroes of Warcraft.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Greetings to day nights and day fans tuning in from all around the world. My name is Michael, and I will be your host for this, our very first DayKnight Hearthstone tournament. For anyone tuning in who might be unfamiliar with who the DayKnights are, we're a community of gamers, geeks, and fans of Sean Plott, otherwise known as Day9 of StarCraft fame. You can find out more about Day9 and the DayKnights at day9.tv. That link will be posted in the chat here in just a minute for you to check out. Today, we have 16 courageous Hearthstone competitors gathered to battle to the death for our enjoyment. Let's not wait another moment and right into the action. First, let's welcome to the tournament stage our two outstanding DayKnight shoutcasters for today's event. First up, we have Joe. Joe is a law student studying in London. He's been playing Hearthstone since the closed beta and thoroughly enjoys it. He's also an amateur magician and theatrical pickpocket who likes to steal people's watches and asks them if he can borrow their time. Joe, in just a second, go ahead and say hello. Joe and all of our shoutcasters are in a Google Plus Hangout. That's where they are. Joe, go ahead and unmute yourself on the Google Plus Hangout. Say hello to our audience. While they're doing that, our competitors are getting ready for the very first match. By the way, I should point out, this is our very first DayKnight Hearthstone tournament. There's bound to be some hiccups, there's bound to be some problems going on. That's quite alright. We're here to have fun. We may not be the best, we're definitely not the worst, but we try real hard. So while Joe gets here in the chat, let me go ahead and also welcome in our second shoutcaster. Our second shoutcaster, his name is Stefan. Stefan is a social science student in Montreal, Canada. He's been a DayKnight since 2010 and enjoys playing Hearthstone at the rank of Legendary. He's also the captain of the University of Montreal Hearthstone team for the Collegiate Star League and runs an interactive stream on Twitch. Stefan and Joe, go ahead and say hello in the Google Plus Hangout.
Hey everyone, I hope you're really excited. I am, and I've seen the deck, they're really awesome. I can't wait to jump into the games.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Stefan.
same here.
Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I've seen all the decks and there's some stuff to come.
Awesome. All right. So for the rules, let's talk about the rules the competitors are going to be following during today's tournament. As our competitors prepare themselves, here are the rules. No legendary cards were allowed in the decks. This is so everybody could have kind of an even playing field and have fun. Matches are a single elimination, best of one. That's to keep the tournament within a 4-hour block. We usually get about, we're guessing we're going to get about 4 games in about an hour, so about 4 hours for a total of 16 games. All deck lists were previously submitted. You can check them out in the link that's going to be posted into the Twitch chat here in just a second. This deck list will be available to all players throughout the tournament, which they can view at any time. This adds a new element of strategy, so they can kind of choose whichever one they want throughout the tournament and switch between them, and the other players can look at those decks at any time and see what they could possibly have next. An interesting strategic sort of element to tournament. And as always, I'm sure we'll see nothing but the best sportsmanship that DayKnight community can provide. If you'd like to follow today's tournament in the brackets, that link will be posted in the Twitch chat here in just a second. These brackets will be updated in real time throughout the tournament. You can see who's winning, who unfortunately lost, and who's moving on into the finals. Very exciting stuff. All these links will be in the Twitch chat here in just a second, the brackets, the deck lists, and day9.tv. Alright, with that, first of all, I'd like to thank everybody for being here today. This is really exciting. If this goes really well, we may have another one. I don't know, we'll see. It's just played by ear. But let's go ahead and move on into our first competition. The first match is just a few away. I'm going to make sure that our competitors are ready to go. Shoutcasters, let's talk about today's tournament for just a second. I'll get these competitors ready to go, and we'll move right into it.
Alright, so our two first competitors are going to be Demoser, or Demoser, I don't know how he pronounces his name, and against Vigilantes. This is going to be really interesting. They both have very different decks. Joe, did you take a look at them? Can you say a word about them?
You know what? I'm just looking at Vigilante's deck now, if Google decides to load it or not. But, yeah, this is the Avada Kedavra deck. Yeah, this is, there were some interesting cards, and obviously because there's no legendaries, it means that they have to come up with alternatives for all their normal cards that they would usually play, like all your Blood Knights and stuff that are quite standard in usual decks. They have to be replaced with other cards.
Yeah, you're right. Pretty much every deck is, well, most decks are variations of popular decks. But without the legendaries, a lot of the thing changes. I mean, you don't need big game hunters as much since you won't have all the big dragons and all that kind of stuff. And that actually makes big dudes really stronger because you won't have all the removal that people usually run against legendaries.
Yeah. They The removal options are very limited. Like you said, Big Game Hunter exists. Obviously, Druid's got their Naturalize, which Demoser I think he's got in his deck. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Right, the game just started.
Yeah.
So far we only have Vigilante's side.
Yeah, it looks
we
like
should have-
Demoser's screen has crashed or something.
Yep. Vigilante chose his Shaman deck, and Moser chose his Druid deck.
Yeah. That's
So-
he's got the turn 1 Stormwind Champion, which is a bit unfortunate of a draw.
Yeah, this Shaman deck is really, really interesting. He's actually running Stormwind Champions and lots of small dudes, and he runs Totemic Might. So I think his plan is just to spawn a lot of totems and just buff them and somehow win this way. It's really original.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking at the deck list right now. Stormwind Champion that he's got there is a card, so he's going to be playing lots of little ones. He's got his hexes in there.
Yep, and this deck actually runs one Earth Elemental. I think that's a really good choice because there's no way someone can run the Black Knight in this tournament.
Yeah.
So the only big removal that you can face is the Big Game Hunter. And actually, Moser, Vigilante was really lucky because the only Big Game Hunters that we can see in this tournament are all in the bottom bracket. So the only Big Game Hunter he can face would be in the finals.
Yeah.
And his Earth Elementals is to go until then.
Yeah, he's going to have to. Demoser's going to have to make do with any sort of naturalize. I'm just checking if he's actually got that in his deck. It doesn't look like he does.
Nope, he does not. But he has double Starfire, which is
Yeah.
really slow, but can work out if he has enough time to use them.
Yeah.
And he also has a Faceless Manipulator,
Yeah, I was
so
just
that
looking
would be
at that.
quite good. Especially since Earth Elemental can't kill themselves,
Yeah.
it can slow down the pace of the game quite a lot.
There you go. There's one of the Starfires going out. Just hitting that Fire Elemental. It's a bit of an empty board.
Yeah, Vigilante pretty much got all the useless cards early on. I mean, and the reactive ones. I guess at least he can
Yeah.
hex the big tree.
The 5/10. Yeah.
But then he still doesn't have anything to play.
Yeah.
He's not building board control. He's just slowing the game down. But that might be to Moser's advantage because he has a lot of big dudes.
Yeah. I mean, the Blood Knight is literally just going to be treated as a card, and then the Spellbreaker to maybe cast on any big taunts that come out.
Yep, and there goes the giant. That's quite a pain for Vigilante, but I guess he can slow him down with the by taunting the totems.
Yeah.
I mean, having a giant out and not being able to attack the face or any minion really is really annoying. I mean, hitting one attack minions for 2 turns in a row is pretty much having a dead card on the board.
Yeah.
That's quite annoying.
Yeah.
It's quite hard to know who right now since we still don't see Moser's hand.
Yeah.
But it really depends on what he's gonna play since Vigilante has a lot of answers and also has an Earth Elemental which can be pretty good, but he doesn't have anything to gain a lot of board control at once actually.
Demos has got both of the giants out now, and he's got some Keeper of the Groves in his deck as well, so he could just silence those taunts if he manages to draw them.
Yeah, that would be really painful.
Oh, the swipe though.
Yeah, Force Lightning is not gonna do a lot here.
He hasn't got much choice though. He's playing it anyway.
I guess Fork Lightning and Lightning Storm can. He actually has a chance of killing one, and then he could hit the second one. If he gets, if he's lucky, he has 25% chance of clearing the board.
Yeah, I mean, it is all down to RNG though in that case.
Yeah, ouch. So the defensive Bloodlust, that's quite hard to use.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's harsh.
And now it's a clear board, so might be a bit more even for Vigilante.
Yeah, but he's only gonna have 6 mana next turn. He can play the Earth Elemental. Unfortunately, that's gonna
So
die
the
to
Iron
the
Bark Protector.
Iron Bark.
Yeah, that is all the giants are coming out really quite quick.
Yep. And also the Totemic Might is a completely dead card here. Since he already lost board control, there's pretty much no use in buffing the totems.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know, it's gonna be up to the top decks, I guess, but I feel like Mo is in a really good spot and should be able to take game 1.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, game 1 of 1 actually.
at this point, it's just, oh wow, another Iron Bark Protector.
Oh wow, that's
Gonna,
yeah, that's really huge.
wow. So
I don't know what Vigilante could top deck
yeah.
here to survive, especially with only 7
I mean,
mana.
he can silence a taunt. That doesn't help him in any way.
Yeah, it still attacks, so it doesn't
Yeah.
really matter.
The Defender of Argus, it's not a. I mean, he can play a taunt and just delay.
Yeah, the game.
I mean, that's probably what he wants to go for at this point because he's not got any killers in his hand.
I'm not sure about the Flame Tongue though, because he can't really attack, and these totems are both
Yeah.
gonna die.
I mean, he's gonna take out the one Iron Bark Protector. Oh, or he's
No,
not.
he can't, because he just played the totem.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So that's kind of weird, but I guess these two are gonna be acting as soft taunts and just buy him 16 HP.
Yeah. Oh, or they're gonna die. The Iron Bark Protector actually killed the totem.
Yep. That's the safe choice, especially since Moser already has card advantage.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to leave any room
Yeah.
to Vigilante. No shenanigans are possible.
Yeah.
And actually, if he had left those alive, Bloodlust could have been really painful.
Yeah.
So that was the good choice.
The healing touch on the Iron Bark Protector. Vigilante must just be looking at this down, going, "Oh, crap."
Yeah, that was a pretty good move. Realizing that he's the healing touch for himself,
No.
so he'd better secure the board control instead.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's basically paying 3 mana to keep your 8 mana guy alive. It's actually almost getting
Yeah.
a new one.
Yeah.
It's really, really good.
Really good price. Oh,
Yep.
The Keeper of the Grove doing the Moonfire. That's a lot of damage that Vigilante just took to the face there.
Yeah, there's no way that Vigilante can hold next turn.
Yeah.
There's the preemptive well played from Moser. He knows he's
The
won.
offensive well played.
Yep.
All he can do is delay with those taunts.
Yeah, it's not even gonna buy him a whole turn. That's 4
Yeah.
HP. So,
Oh wow.
oh wow,
jeez.
and the power of the wild on top of that.
This
That's
is a nice little druid deck. I say little, it's got giants coming out of its ears,
Yep.
but
yeah, I guess Moser's deck really snowballs quite hard. From the point when if he can get board control,
yeah,
it's really
as,
huge,
as we've just seen.
and that's what happened. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
well
was
played.
a pretty good game. It pretty much all came down to Vigilante not drawing any good cards really early on. I mean, having the Stormwind Champion
Yeah.
sitting in your hand for 11 turns
Yeah.
before being able to play it, that was quite harsh. And yeah, the Totemic Might, I get what he was trying to do with it, but I feel like it's a card that, I mean, it's weak, and then, well, it didn't really get him any board control,
Yeah.
but it was still a pretty interesting deck. I liked it, and I would like to see it in action at some other time.
Yeah, I think that was a great first game.
Yep, and it's quite hard to really see how a deck can work in a best of one, but it was still a very interesting.
An interesting.
Very interesting game, yeah.
Yeah.
So we just
Yeah, I
had our
agree.
first match. That was really exciting. Awesome. Congratulations, DMoser, on that win. So let me talk about the tournament here real quick, just so everybody watching kind of understand the way we're doing this. So as you know, Blizzard has yet to implement any kind of official, sort of structured, nice and polished Blizzard-y way to do tournaments here in Hearthstone yet. They say it's coming, but they say it's not here yet. So while we're doing that, this is our ghetto, if you will, way to do this tournament. We have each competitor signed on to Skype, and each competitor shares their screens with us, which then we shoutcast, watch, shoutcast, and then stream back to you. So as you can imagine, there's about 2 or 3 steps that have to happen for everybody watching to see the tournament happen. So if the quality is a little bit degraded, I apologize. This is just kind of how we're running things today. And the last stream, unfortunately, we lost one of our screen sharers, so we didn't get to go back and forth like we normally would. But we're going to get that situated out. We're going to get that all sorted out and fixed, and we're going to carry right on. So for the very next challengers, we have Arcs and Turbo Swim, which we're going to have here in just a moment. You can see their decks are now up on the stream.
Yeah, so Archimedes has the choice between an aggro shaman, a token druid that features gadgets and auctioneers and moonfire, or a typical zoo deck with self and raid mechanics. It could be quite strong.
Yeah, you gotta love the zoo deck.
Yep, there's actually a lot of zoo decks in this tournament, since it's one of the few
It doesn't rely on legendaries.
decks that doesn't rely on legendaries.
Yeah, as well as being huge in the meta, not just this tournament.
Yep. And then we have Turbo Swim that also has a zoo deck, but that relies on having 10 1-drops. That is huge.
Yeah, that's a lot of low drops. His curve must be impressive.
And then he has a Tempo Rogue that has few minions, but has a lot of removal and buffs, as well as Gadgetzan. And he also has a mid-range Shaman that we could see as well.
Yeah, I've just noticed the Faceless Manipulator in Turbo Swim Zoo deck.
Yep, it's quite, it's really interesting, and I guess it can be really good against, when you start losing board control and your opponent plays like an Iron Bog Protector,
Yeah,
then you can just
just
get back
copy
up.
it. Yeah. I've never seen one of those in a zoo deck before, so that should be interesting to see if he does decide to use that deck. He does not have Cult Master in that zoo deck, someone in the chat was just saying. But I can see how that would be quite an attractive idea.
All right, let me go ahead and just jump in here. Shoutcasters and competitors for the next match, go ahead and check your Skypes. Join our call, if you would, please. Shoutcasters, let me go ahead and have you guys mute yourselves on the Skype. And competitors, get ready to battle. Aw, yeah. All right, Turbo Swim. Archimedes. Hey, Turbo Swim. Are you able to battle Archimedes? Is he on your friends list?
We're friends, yeah.
All right, cool. Let's go ahead and get the screen share up right away so we can head to this next battle. Awesome. Okay. And let's go ahead and go right into it. Go ahead and close your mini Skype window there in the top right corner. Battle your opponent, challenge him, and we'll hop right into it. Alright folks, so once again, we actually only have one screen share to be shown this time. We don't have two. That's alright, we have many more tournaments, many more matches to go, where we'll get to. We can switch back and forth like a real tournament. We'll get there, it's alright. The ball is rolling now, that's the important part. We try real hard. Here we go.
Alright, so here we go, Archimedes versus Turbo Swim. It looks like Archimedes chose his Druid deck. And I still don't know who Turbo Swim chose. The Shaman deck. Alright.
Wow, that's a bad starting hand. The Archimedes there.
Alright, so Archimedes starts with Wild Growth. That's really good. As a Ram Druid, he's got to be really happy about this. He can actually turn 3 Violet Teacher and then coin something else. It's pretty huge.
Yeah, that's really good for him. Oh, there we go. It frozen for me for a sec there. He appears to be playing on Windows XP.
Okay, sir. So Turbo Swing passed his first 2 turns, as expected. Turn 2 Wild Growth from Archimedes.
Yeah.
So Turbo Swim kind of has some pressure on him. He has to play something quite soon, otherwise he's just gonna get drowned under an overwhelming amount of minions from Archimedes.
Yeah, it's that's a nice pickup there. The keyboard Cobalt Geomancer.
Yep, it's kind of a replacement for Thalnos here.
Yeah.
Pretty good choice, because the just having +1 spell damage on swipe changes everything, especially against Shaman.
Yeah, it'd be huge.
With all the 2 HP totems.
Mm. So he played the Druid of the Claw and chose the Taunt option, which is probably good for his early game build-up.
Okay, so the Feral Spirits. So Turbo Swim's only gonna have 3 mana next turn.
Yeah.
Archimedes is wondering if he wants to play his Violet Teacher. I guess he'd Moonfire the 1/1 then.
Yeah, looks that way.
And he's, even if he's in a really good spot at this point, I guess he's really hoping for a Power of the Wild.
Yeah.
Which I think he has in his deck.
That would be great, yeah.
Yeah, he indeed has 2 Power of the Wilds.
Yeah.
So he really wants to top deck this as soon as possible so he can buff all the tokens that he's made.
Mm.
Another totem, so
He must not have much in hand.
yeah, I guess he probably has a pretty late game hand, or I don't know.
Maybe he's just waiting for the right combo.
That might be what's happening also. He actually has a lot of minions in his deck. We don't know what he has, but I don't know how he can be lacking answers at this point. I mean, he has Lightning Storm, Yetis,
Yeah.
Defender of Argus, Lightning Bolt, Rockbiter.
Yeah. silence the Violet Teacher which is a good idea because
Yep.
the Archimedes was just going to keep playing good cards and making more apprentices.
Yeah, things can get out of hand really quickly with a druid that has a Violet Teacher.
Yeah.
So it was a really good choice.
The +1 spell damage. Swipe gets played, completely clears Turbo Swim's board.
Yep. So here a spell damage Lightning Storm could be really devastating, but if it doesn't happen, Archimedes is in a really good spot.
Yeah.
No spell damage totem.
Wow.
I guess we're gonna see the Lightning Storm. Anyways, yep,
Yeah.
there it is.
Yeah. Alright, so he's left with just his Violet Teacher and a Druid of the Claw.
Yep, and alright, so just the Druid of the Claw at 1 HP also, so
So it's going to be pretty dead.
yeah,
As
I
soon as
guess the
Turbo
best
Swim gets
play
his next
here
turn.
would be to heal the 4-1 up to 4-6. It's Archimedes because he'd want to play the Ancient of Lore. Like there's no way he can hero power here.
Yeah.
But he'd want to draw cards because he's running out of steam. But
Yeah.
also he doesn't want to lose his druid.
Yeah, it looked like he was going to Wrath there for the 1 damage and then draw the card, but he went for the Ancient Lore in the end.
I feel like that's a good choice. It's a hard one because you have to sacrifice the bear.
Yeah.
But having a 5/5 on the board and drawing cards is really huge in any game. So as soon as you have some breathing room and you can do it without losing board control right away,
Yeah.
I think it's the good play.
Yeah. Look at his hand, though. He's got the Vine, nothing but spells.
Yep. If he draws into Power of the Wild, that would be huge.
Yeah.
But he gets another Ancient, so I guess you can still Wrath and Claw.
Yeah, it's
And
that's what he's going to be doing.
yep. And unless Turbo Swim has another Lightning Storm, Archimedes is in a pretty strong situation here.
Yeah, he's got very, very good positioning.
So I guess we're gonna know soon enough, because I mean, if you have a Lightning Storm, there's no way you don't play it right now.
No, yeah. No, he hasn't got it. It looks like
Maybe Hexes first. That could be a good way to do it also.
What do you know of Hex the 5/5 then?
I guess it's just in case of a Power of the Wild.
You got lucky there.
Okay, not too bad. I'm pretty sure Archimedes has lethal though.
Yeah, I think he does with the claw.
Yeah, he actually has 2 extra damage. Only with Savage Roar, so that's 4 extra with Claw, 5 extra total
Yeah.
with the Shapeshift. So
Yeah. So it's gonna be GG.
yeah, I don't think 1 mana is gonna change something. Nope. So Archimedes should take the second game for today.
Yeah, and it's well played as well.
Yeah, but I really had no idea why. I mean, I don't know what's happened to Turbo Swim. I guess he just only drew reactive cards.
Yeah, it was weird.
And that he could not. I don't know.
Yeah, he had quite a few low drops in his deck as well.
Yeah, I guess bad
Yeah, I didn't
draws.
see.
And well, actually Archimedes had pretty good draws also with the early Wild Growth, and then the Violet Teacher being able to summon a couple of tokens.
Yeah.
That was quite strong.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the deck of Turbo Swim there, he had all these. He had Yetis, he had Defender Aragus, he even had a Doom Hammer in there.
Yeah, and Argent Commanders and Fire Elementals to clear.
Just must not have drawn any of them.
Yep, that's
Really unlucky.
card games. It happens.
Yeah.
So up next, we're gonna have a very aggressive player. Dore Egan has 3 aggro decks.
Yeah.
So I feel like for Mr. Venatus, his opponent, is gonna be an easy choice for him to pick a deck, since he knows the decks of his opponent and he sees that all three are very aggressive, so he's just gonna go defensive, I guess, and
Yeah.
take his best deck against aggression. And it's actually a really interesting dimension of the tournament that we haven't talked about yet, is that the players had to submit 3 decks, and then they can see which decks their opponent has submitted, and they have to pick their own deck without knowing which of the 3 decks their opponent is going to choose. So there's already a strategic judgment call to be made before even entering the game.
Yeah, so like that's gonna be really good for Mr. Venetus, because obviously all of Dore Egon's are super aggro, so he just has to go, alright, so choose my defensive deck.
Yeah, and he has a mage deck that's very interesting. That's both aggressive and defensive. He actually has like enrage Imani Berserkers, and Ice Block and that kind of stuff. So
yeah, he's it's weird.
Ice Barrier, I meant, sorry. And also he has a Defender of Argus, Flame Strike, and Sunwalkers to be defensive, but at the same time he has Argent Squires and Mana Worms for early game. It's a pretty interesting deck. I don't know if he's gonna choose this one, but it could do the job.
I like the look of his Druid deck.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's kind of a tempo Druid, relying on getting board control early and then keeping the advantage up by using Soul of the Forest and a lot of card draw.
Yeah.
I mean, he has the Cold Light Oracle, the Nourish, the Starfire. There's a lot of card draw in there.
Yeah, it's true.
So considering his opponent is really aggressive, regardless of the deck he chooses, this game is really going to be up to who can get board control early on, like before turn 5 or 6. It's going to be pretty decisive.
Yeah, it's going to be really important in how the game plays out.
All right,
What if he
so
hasn't even looked at his opponent's decks? What about that?
that would definitely suck. Luckily, they're all up for everybody to check out if they
I
want
didn't understand the question, sorry.
If I was just thinking, what if Mr. Venetus hasn't looked at Dore Egon's decks?
Oh, well then I don't know. I mean, it's kind of up to him to take a look at them. It's part of the tournament. The decks have been public for at least 5 or 6 days.
Yeah, I've been keeping up with the DayKnight forum thread. But yeah, I mean, I know that some people just are like, yeah, I'll do that later, and then they never end up doing it. I know I do that a lot with certain things.
Yeah, I guess it can happen. We're all busy sometimes, and
Yeah.
All right, so we've had our first 2 matches. They were very exciting. Thank you, competitors, for doing that. We're trying to get our next competition going. We have a couple of people not on Skype, a couple of people not showing up. The way this is going to work, we give our competitors about 10 or 15 minutes. If they don't show up for their matches, or if we simply have to carry on with the competition in the tournament, then it's just simply a bye, and the other person gets a win. Congratulations. So we're going to give our competitors just a few minutes to show up, and then we'll move on. So for the next competition, let's see if we can get Greedo and Flying Pancake in here. Give me 1 second to hit these 2 fine gentlemen up, and we'll get another match going in just a minute.
all right. So I guess we're gonna start talking about
Their decks.
yeah. So Greeter and Flying Pancake, they're in the second bracket,
Yep.
and so Greedo has kind of an aggro mage that's a little slow. He also has a mid-range hunter with traps. And he has snake trap combos, which might be really interesting if we can see them.
Yeah.
And then he has a mid-range druid that should be pretty good defensively.
Yeah, it looks like a good druid actually.
Then Flying Pancake, did you take a look at his decks?
I was just trying to find it. There we go. Yeah, so he's got a zoo deck in there. He's trying to make a priest one there with soul priests, which is always fun.
Yep. His priest deck is pretty. It really looks like Amaz's priest decks.
Yeah.
Relying on Arcanize and Circle of Healing, in case of if he faces aggro, and he has Holy Fire against any 4 attack minions that the Power Words can't kill.
Yep.
And he actually does not run a Shadow Word Pain,
No, he doesn't.
so that's interesting.
He's going to be relying solely on minions for those then.
Yeah, it's actually more of an anti-control deck, since he doesn't have Shadow Word Pains, and he has 2 Thought Steals, which are really slow cards, but really, really good against control.
Yeah, maybe he's relying on the Soul Priest getting out early so that he can just use his modified hero power to ping any low health value cards.
What's up?
Yep.
Can you hear me?
And what's his druid looking like?
It's a token druid actually. It's really similar to the Watch a Teachin deck that's been. So it features Ancient Watchers and Violet Teachers. So you both have the defensive potential of druid with the Ancient Watcher and Sunfury Protectors, but also you can go aggressive really quickly by silencing the Watchers and having huge combos with Savage Roar, Force of Nature, and Power of the Wild.
Alright, so I'm going to keep my shoutcasters on their toes and switch it up yet again. We're going to go ahead and go with Anim Hero and Check Chess Master. Let's see if I can bring them up on the stream here so people can see their decks. Give me one moment. There they are. Awesome. So Anim Hero is working with a warrior, a warlock, and a mage, and Checker is working with a paladin, a shaman, and a mage as well. We're going to get their screen shared up. We actually have both of them on right now, so we might actually get both happening. That'd be cool. Let's go ahead and get both of them going, and we'll get this battle going in just a moment.
Alright, so we're gonna take a look at another set of decks. Anim Hero, just like Dore Egon that we didn't see play yet, is a very aggressive player. All 3 of his decks are very aggressive.
Yeah. Are they actually all this? No. Yeah, he's got the Zoolock in there. And the Aggro Mage.
And then he has the Face Warrior that's been popularized by Reynad.
Yeah.
It kind of got out of trend for 1 or 2 seasons, but it's really good against the oh so popular Miracle Rogue.
Yeah.
That we won't see in this tournament because I mean you can have either Leroy or Malygos, so
Yeah, and that's
there's no miracle to be happening.
Yeah, there is a limited amount of miracles.
But
yeah,
yep, go on.
I was just gonna say the Zoolock he's running actually looks very similar to Reynald's first version of the Zoolock, which I know I used to run. I think he had a good one going on.
Yeah, you're right. It has the Abusive Sergeant and the Young Priestess, which have since been changed by Reynad in his own version. But I still feel like, personally, I really struggle against the Young Priestess. I play a lot of Druid, and having all the X1s buffed to X2s is a pain to deal with.
Yeah. I know that's why I like running it in my zoo deck. I also like running the Amani Berserker for the. I think it helps out with the. What's that? The Doom Guard.
Yep.
And obviously the Knife Juggler's in there.
Yeah, all the good stuff, all the buffs. He has a lot of buffs actually. There's the Young Priestess, the Abusive Sergeant, the Direwolf Alpha, the Shadow Sun Clerics, the Dark Iron Dwarfs, and the Defenders of Argus. So, if he loses board control, his cards are going to be really, actually quite bad for their cost.
Yeah.
So it's really going to be up to board control if he picks this deck.
Yeah. You're right.
And then we have CK Chessmaster. It has a really interesting shaman deck that I love to see. That he called too many of them, and then it has a lot of minions that are just quite annoying to deal with, like the fairy dragons, the shield bearer. I've never seen it in a shaman deck, but I guess it can protect your other minions. I mean, if you manage to get a fairy dragon behind a shield bearer, how can you get rid of it?
It's so annoying. Fairy
Yep.
Dragon is such a good value card.
Yeah, and then he plays Razorfen Hunters just to have a lot of minions out, and then he has the Stormwind Champion and the Bloodlust as finishers.
Yeah.
So once again, if he manages to get board control, he can get the ball rolling.
What deck do you think he's going to go with, bearing in mind that most of his opponent's decks, if not all of them, are aggro decks?
I guess he has a pretty good Paladin deck that's mid-rangey. Could be quite good against aggro decks. I haven't tried it myself. The mid-range Paladin, that is.
Yeah.
But I know it's quite good because the outdoor Peacekeeper is really strong just to slow down the pace of the game, and then you get enormous value from the True Silver Champion, the Blessing of Kings,
Yeah.
the Hammer of Wrath.
Sword of Justice,
Yep.
which is a fantastic card.
Yeah, really. If you manage to not get it, have it oozed,
Yeah.
or put in a museum, which can't happen in this tournament, man, using all the 5 charges is
Just
almost a free win.
It goes so well with the hero power as well.
Yeah. And then he has a mage deck that's kind of a variation of the mid-range mage, having the mana worm with mirror image as early game, and then he has some drawing power and has a late game with the Ventrico, Mercenary, the Lure of the Arena, the Sunwalker, and the Flame Strikes.
Yeah, how do you feel about playing Ventrico Mercenaries in decks? Because I've always tried to stay away from them because I don't quite like the value that you get.
I think it's really good, especially in mage decks,
Oh yeah.
because Ventrico is a 7/6 for 5 mana. That is huge. It's kind of like the Earth Elemental on turn 5. Like, there's nothing that can kill it. He has to trade like at least 2 or 3 cards into it,
Yeah.
and it's a huge threat to the hero's HP. So he has to get rid of it. And the downside is you're kind of overloaded every single turn after that because your minions are really expensive.
Mm.
But if he doesn't kill it, you can go for face, and he has to get rid of it. And as a mage, you can rely purely on spam
Yeah, that's true.
and just keep the board clear for the Ventrico.
Yeah, I guess I've never just really made a good mage deck that would fit well into. But I'll have to
Yeah.
give it a go sometime because I can see the potential in it now you mention it.
I mean, as long as you can survive without playing a lot of minions, basically by having a lot of spells, the mercenary is really strong.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we're actually going to go on a quick break. Several of our competitors are having issues with BattleNet adding each other to their lists. We think it's a BattleNet problem. So we're going to go on a short 10-minute break. We'll be back in about 10 minutes, try to get some of these folks on each other's friend lists, and continue the tournament on. Thank you very much for joining in. We'll be back in about 10 minutes, so join us then.